everyone, and welcome back to the next video in this extended series of videos released in succession, providing a full read-through of every witness statement from the UK trial between Johnny Depp and NGN. I hope you find this series informative, and here we go. John Christopher Depp and News Group Newspapers and Dan Wooten. First witness statement of Sean Bett. I, Sean Bett of Los Angeles, United States of America, will say as follows. I worked as a deputy with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department from 1999 to 2004. Following that, I've been working in private security for the past 16 years. For the past 9 years, I have been working exclusively with the claimant, Mr. John Christopher Depp II, and his family. Unless otherwise stated, the facts and matters referred to in this witness statement are within my own knowledge and are true to the best of my knowledge, information and belief based on sources stated within this witness statement. There is now produced to me and marked Exhibit SB1, a paginated bundle of true copy documents referred to in this witness statement. References to page numbers are references to Exhibit SB1 unless otherwise stated. I make this witness statement in support of the claimant's claim in these proceedings. I do not know the details about these proceedings, but I understand from the claimant's solicitors that these proceedings relate to the allegations that Mr. Depp was verbally and physically abusive to his former wife, Ms. Amber Heard. Throughout their relationship, I was with Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard very regularly throughout this period, and I never saw any cuts, bruises, or other injuries on Ms. Heard. I also never saw Mr. Depp commit any act of physical V to another person. Indeed, when they were in Los Angeles, I would have been with Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard between 5 and 7 days a week. So had Ms. Heard sustained any injuries during that time, I would have seen them. I saw no such injuries. On the contrary, throughout the course of Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard's relationship, Ms. Heard was verbally and physically abusive towards Mr. Depp. On many occasions, I witnessed her shout at Mr. Depp. I was also told by Mr. Depp on multiple occasions that Ms. Heard had physically abused him. A very common occurrence throughout the relationship would be that Mr. Depp would have me and other members of his security team take him away from Ms. Heard due to her behavior. He would then stay somewhere else. This happened on so many occasions that it is not possible for me to remember them all in detail. However, I would describe it as a recurring cycle that Ms. Heard would abuse Mr. Depp, who would then remove himself from the situation. Ms. Heard often behaved in this way when she had been drinking. I learnt quickly to recognize the signs so that we were able to leave the situation before it escalated further. I also knew that she could be violent towards Mr. Depp, so it was important that he did not remain in the situation with Ms. Heard when she was in this kind of abusive mood. April 21st, 2016. On April 21st, 2016, I remember driving Mr. Depp to a party for Ms. Heard's birthday. He had been at a business meeting and was running late for the party. Later on in the evening, I was called by Mr. Depp, and I then drove him home to another one of his properties. He had told me that Ms. Heard had sought to argue with him and had punched him, causing him to sustain a visible injury. I took a picture of his injury, and it is at page 1 of Exhibit SB1. The following day, I received from Mr. Kevin Murphy, Mr. Depp's then estate manager, photos of human feces in Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard's bed. I believed that this was as a result of the actions of Ms. Heard. May 21st, 2016. I've been told by the claimant's solicitors that, amongst other things, the defendant specifically alleged that Mr. Depp abused Ms. Heard on May 21st, 2016. I set out my recollection of that day below. I was working on the evening of May 21st, 2016. Mr. Depp, my former partner, Mr. Jerry Judge, and I arrived at 849 South Broadway, Los Angeles between 7:30 and 7:45 p.m. Mr. Depp owned adjoining penthouses 3, 4, and 5. That night, Mr. Depp was sober, lucid, and had expressed his concern to us about Ms. Heard and how she might behave. We entered penthouse 3, where Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard primarily resided. There were lit candles and there was an open bottle of wine with at least one glass on the counter. Mr. Depp told us that he would go upstairs to the bedroom to speak with Ms. Heard. I do not think that anyone else was in the apartment at this stage. While he did so, Mr. Judge and I went to the hallway. We went very briefly into penthouse 4 and then returned to the outside door of penthouse 3. One can see into the penthouse and hear what is happening inside from there. After approximately 10 minutes, Mr. Judge and I heard Ms. Heard's shouts. I could not make out what she was saying, but we immediately entered the penthouse. I have been told by Mr. Depp's solicitors that the defendants allege that Ms. Heard tried to telephone one of Mr. Depp's trusted employees. She did not call me or Mr. Judge, and the only reason why we entered the penthouse 3 was because we had heard these screams. When we entered, we saw Mr. Depp standing approximately 20 feet away from Ms. Heard, who was standing by the couch. As soon as Ms. Heard noticed that we had entered the room, she looked very surprised. Her demeanor then changed and she pointed at Mr. Depp and screamed to us words to the effect of, quote, "If he hits me one more time, I'm calling the police." End quote. I believe that Raquel Pennington was in Penthouse 3 at this stage. I understand from Mr. Depp's advisor that Ms. Pennington and Ms. Heard have both testified that Ms. Heard summoned Ms. Pennington by text around 8:06 p.m. that night, and that Ms. Pennington rushed down the hallway from Penthouse 5 to Penthouse 3 to assist. I also understand that Josh Drew claimed that Mr. Judge and I were waiting in Penthouse 5 rather than in front of Penthouse 3 and saw us through the peephole running towards Penthouse 3 when the yelling started. Both of those statements are falsehoods for the same reason. Other than our brief entry into Penthouse 4, Mr. Judge and I were guarding the door to Penthouse 3 for the entirety of the incident to protect Mr. Depp in case Ms. Heard pulled something. So Ms. Pennington did not come through us into the only entrance into Penthouse 3. She was clearly already inside Penthouse 3 when we arrived. And her ex-husband's testimony that he saw us running through the peephole is just a lie to explain the impossible. I have quite good eyesight. I was able to see that Ms. Heard was wearing little or no makeup, her skin was quite pale and she had no red marks or evidence of any bruises or abrasions to her face or body. I could see Mr. Depp was visibly upset and having been accused of hitting Ms. Heard. However, he never came closer than 20 feet to her during the time I was able to observe them. I did not notice any smashed glass or broken bottles in the apartment at that time. Mr. Depp, Mr. Judge and I agreed that it would be best if Mr. Depp left the building, due to the fact that the situation had escalated and Ms. Heard was hysterically shouting at Mr. Depp and making allegations about his behavior. We did so, but once we were in the car, we realized that Mr. Depp had left his mobile phone in Penthouse 3. As a result, Mr. Judge called Mr. Drew, who lived with his fiancée, Ms. Pennington, in one of Mr. Depp's penthouses. Mr. Drew brought the phone downstairs within 5 to 10 minutes and handed it to Mr. Judge. I have never seen Mr. Depp being V to anyone, including Ms. Heard, during the long period I have been working for him. In addition, I have observed Ms. Heard throwing bottles, glasses, and other objects at Mr. Depp while being verbally abusive towards him. As a rule, during these episodes, Mr. Depp remains fairly passive and either tries to calm Ms. Heard down or remove himself from the situation. I believe that the facts stated in this witness statement are true. Signed, Sean Bett, 12th of December 2019.